I don't see anything. I'm getting in contact with her in regards to her dog. I'm getting in contact with my girlfriend in regards of helping me search for the dog. So I'm doing everything I can at 9:30 at night to search for the dog.
And what happens?
Nothing.
Never find the dog?
Never find the dog.
This is the plaintiff, Christiana Woodbury. She says she left her miniature chocolate poodle Coco with the defendant while she went out of town for a while, and the careless woman lost her. Now she's gone forever. She's devastated without Coco. The woman refuses to pay her the $8,000 she's now owed. That's why she's taking her to court today and suing her for just that. This is the defendant, Honesty Biggers. She says she simply let the plaintiff's dog and her partner's dog out in the backyard one day, and she disappeared. The plaintiff accused her of getting rid of the dog on purpose because they didn't get along too well. She didn't do anything wrong because sometimes dogs escape, and she owes this woman nothing. She's accused of losing Coco. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $600 for unpaid rent.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Woodbury.
Hi.
You are actually still living in the same place, correct? Okay, and is it an apartment or a house or?
It's a townhome.
It's a townhome. Do you
Yes.
own it or do you rent it and sublet it to her?
A lease and sublet.
Okay, so you two started to kind of not get along. When did you start not getting along and why?
Honestly, I don't know when that actually started. My problem was once my dog went missing. That was in January. She kind of started having concerns because I was living there since
I'm sorry,
May of.
I don't make stuff up. This is right from your complaint in November and December. I came down with pneumonia, was admitted to the hospital. I got out of the hospital. She started acting weird with me. The defendant would start to complain and move things around the house. I mean, that's why I asked you that. So tell me about that.
Yeah, as I said, I was living there since May, and it wasn't any problems. I spoke to her in October as to how things have been with me living there, and she said it was fine. And then I had pneumonia for the 2 months, and she just was getting a little weird around the house, moving things, and she told me she had
moving things?
Like the garbage can, things that we shared commonly. She said she had a problem with me touching her pots and pans, which when I initially moved there, I don't cook. All I do is boil water for like tea or make soup. She said it was no problem with me using her pots because I didn't come with pots. And then when I came from the hospital, it was, oh, well, you have to ask to use my pots. You have to ask to use my utensils. So I just stopped altogether using anything of hers. The garbage can that was in the kitchen was moved.
Was moved where?
I don't know. I haven't seen the garbage can since, honestly.
Is it your garbage can?
No. Just something commonly that we use. And I don't know if it's because of when I came from the hospital, lack of me taking out the garbage. But from May to said when I was in the hospital, it was no problem with me taking out garbage or doing whatever needed to be done in the house, you know. And I was living there and never cooked, like I said, or used the common area like the living room.
So there really wasn't then a problem before this happened?
Yeah, just when she said she had concerns, and that's when I came from the hospital. She said she had concerns.
All right, so now it's January, and you have a dog, and how long have you had this dog?
For 5 years, since 2014.
Okay, so when you rented, did you say, I have a dog?
Yes, she was fully aware.
And the dog is what kind of dog?
A miniature toy poodle.
Okay. Did she have a dog?
Her girlfriend had a dog.
Okay.
Or has a dog.
And did the girlfriend live there too?
Yes.
All right. And so where were you when the dog got lost? Were you at work? Were you out?
No, I was out dealing with my boyfriend.
But were you out, like, out of town? Or
No. I was still in town.
What is it that happened?
On the night that the dog went missing?
Yeah.
Oh, so when the dog went missing, I came home.
How did the dog go missing?
I came home from work. I come home from work usually between 5:30 and 6 p.m. And on a normal occasion, my girlfriend, as well as her dog, will sit in a cage for hours at a time.
Wait,
because
your girlfriend and the dog sit in the cage?
No,
for
my
your
girlfriend's dog. Yes, and her dogs will sit in the cage for hours at a time.
In the cage inside?
Yes, because
Okay.
we're all at work. So usually
Right.
when I come home, I'm making an effort to let their dogs out, to help them out, because I don't have a dog. Neither one of those are my dogs. So I let the dog out, both of the dogs.
Where do you let them out?
In the backyard. I have a gated backyard area with a
Okay,
fence.
it's a fence all the way around?
Yes, all the way around. And it
Okay.
requires you to have to physically open the door for you to walk out of the
Okay,
backyard.
is it locked?
Yes.
Okay, locked as in
Locked is in, you just need to lift up a latch.
a latch?
Yes.
Okay, so go on.
So I let the dogs out. But before I let the dogs out, I have an issue with my apartment complex. They don't cut our grass often because I have a makeshift chair that I had to put behind the door to block the dogs from slipping under the door. So I took the initiative.
Under what door?
Under the back gate door on the backyard.
So you
'Cause
have a
there's space.
chair blocking because otherwise what?
Because there's space between the ground and the gate that
Okay,
the
that has
dogs-
nothing to do with the grass.
No, that has nothing
Okay.
to do with the grass. But I'm saying in order for them to get into the backyard, the chair needs to be moved so they can't cut the grass.
So was the chair there?
I moved the chair because when I came home, I saw them lawn people there. So I took the initiative to move the chair so they did not have an excuse to say we could not cut your grass because the chair was in the way.
Okay, so were there lawn people doing lawn services at 5:30, 6 p.m.?
Yes, they were sitting on the back of their trucks. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you take the chair out.
Yes.
The latch is still there.
Yes, so the door's
And
still
the
closed.
dogs are there. And
Yes.
where do you go?
I go upstairs. I'm moving around. I'm washing clothes at this time. I'm cleaning up, and then maybe like 45 minutes later, I leave the house to go to the store, and I come back, and this is when I notice that the dogs are missing. Well, one of the dogs is missing.
Had your lawn been cut?
No, had not been cut.
So what did you do?
I immediately contacted her and asked her if she had her dog, because normally sometimes she'll come back and take her dog, just, not assuming that it was lost already.
And then she said,
No, she didn't have her dog. And so I went into panic mode and I went around asking questions. Where's the dog? Where's the dog? Trying to.
who were you asking the questions of?
My neighbors.
Okay, what about the lawn people?
There was no lawn people because this happened at 9 p.m.
So you put the dogs out at what time?
I put the dogs out around 7 o'clock, between 7 and 7:30.
And nobody else came home between 7:30 and 9?
No one came home between 5:30 and 9 o'clock.
All right, so you get home at 9, you notice them missing. You notice one dog missing.
Yes.
The other dog is there.
No, the other dog's there.
And what's the other dog? What type of dog?
It's a Maltese and Yorkie mix.
And you go into panic mode, and what do? You start talking to neighbors.
Yeah, start asking questions, start going around trying to search the dog, thinking maybe the dog will still be in the area. So I was on foot walking around.
My first question is, how did the dog get out? Through the space
Yes,
underneath?
through the space under the door, because the Maltese poodle, it slips under there often.
But the Maltese hadn't. But you think that the poodle did?
I think that they both slipped out, and because the Maltese can slip back under it, because this has happened before in the past. It will slip under the gate and then slip right back under there.
So you're looking around, and what happens?
I don't see anything. I'm getting in contact with her in regards to her dog. I'm getting in contact with my girlfriend in regards of helping me search for the dog. So I'm doing everything I can at 9:30 at night to search for the dog.
And what happens? Never
Nothing.
find the dog.
Never find the dog.
And you come home at what time?
She texted me at 10:01. I think I got home at like 10:07. Her girlfriend tells me that she texted her at 9:53 p.m. saying that she had already been looking for Coco for 20 minutes.
Okay.
So now Coco's been missing since around 9:30. I didn't get a text till 10:01 p.m.
Okay.
And she goes, "Hey, do you have Coco?" I said, "No, she's home in her cage." She goes, okay. I say, "She's not there, ? She goes, "Well, I was asking because I left and they were in the backyard. I see Bella, but no Coco. So that's why I asked. I'm driving around looking for her now." And I'm like, "Please no, OMG, I'm pulling up now. This is at 10:11 p.m. Do you see her?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm driving around the neighborhood next to mine's right now." I text her at 10:55 p.m. "Can you tell me how long she was out for?"
Wait, when did you get home?
At 10:11.
Okay, so when you get home, what do?
I'm in the neighborhood screaming her name. I'm circling the neighborhood. After that, I went to the surrounding neighborhoods. I'm up and down, walking, physically driving my car.
Did you have a chip in the dog?
No, there was no chip in her. No. I
And
thought
she's
it
a
was
dog
chip.
that you say costs how much?
She was bought for $2,500.
And according to you, her value at the age of 5 is $6,000?
No, that's because I didn't really know how much this would have affected me or that I would even want another dog. But I didn't know I looked so much into her for emotional support. So I know I'm going to eventually want a dog. I'm going to want another dog.
But how is your dog valued at $6,000 at the age of 5?
Miniature poodles go from, if I get another dog, I'm not going to get a 5-year-old dog. I'm going to get a toy dog and raise it like I did her from when she was a puppy. Miniature poodles now range from anywhere between $900 to $8,000. Miniature toy poodles.
But was your dog a show dog?
No, I never put her in the show, but she was
your
very
dog
groomed.
Fixed?
Yes, she was.
Okay, so you weren't breeding her or anything?
No,
else.
no, no.
And I presume that you've been to all of the
Clinics, hospitals, shelters. Yes.
animal control?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
in touch with them constantly. to
And
see
they
if
haven't
find-
put to sleep any miniature poodles
No.
at animal control?
No, I drive up to the shelter every other day
Yeah.
to check in both counties.
Well, there's that. We know that the dog is probably being very well taken care of by somebody who nabbed her. I can't, which is better than thinking she's run over, but still not very comforting for you. So sorry. What does it cost to put a chip in? Does anyone know?
Yeah, it's between $30 to $70.
Once, right?
One time.
Then you might monitor. If you monitor, then you got to pay that monthly fee. But
Yeah.
otherwise, it costs that once, right?
Yes.
Right. Do you still have signs up?
Yeah, in certain places, I have posters that I've put up everywhere, every gas station, Walgreens,
Do you guys? You're
CVS.
from Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have next door?
Yeah.
Yes, she's posted
you
on
post it on
Nextdoor. She's
Nextdoor?
posted on Paw Boost. She's posted on Facebook.
What's the other one
Paw
called?
Boost,
Paw Boost.
which costs to post her on there. It's like
Right,
$24
for lost dogs, found dogs.
Yes.
I don't know why it took this long to invent something like that. It's fantastic, So now you are suing Honesty because according to you, this is her fault.
She neglected to put the chair down, which she's really responsible. She's normally on top of stuff like that. When I first initially moved there, I used to always come through that backyard. And it's a very small backyard. I have pictures of the orange blocker that we use to stop the dogs from getting.
May I see that?
And it's a very small space. So she normally is on
She
top
makes
of
a
that.
good point. It's no different than leaving the door open and the dog leaves, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
both dogs get out that way.
Yes.
I understand what you're saying, that then all of a sudden you won't get your lawn cut, but unless you're going to be there to make sure the dogs don't get out.
But I was there and
Yeah, but then you left.
Yes, and
And you weren't watching the dogs.
Yes.
But by there, I mean there,
Oh, I get what you're
like
saying,
making sure they
physically.
don't get out.
Yes.
And she failed to tell me that. She told me that she was
Okay,
gone.
you need to stop talking. Tell me what your answer to that concern is.
as far as me not putting the thing back,
Yeah.
that I'm human and I made a mistake and I forgot.
Yeah.
And it was 9:00 at night, and so I assumed when I moved the chair that they were going to cut the grass, and I didn't think that in this moment the dogs are going to run out.
Right. Do you have a picture of the gap without the chair there so I can
Yes.
see? I mean, I don't even know that I need that because I know everybody admits that the dogs get out with the gap. See, I understand what you're saying if you stand there and say, hey, guys, come do my lawn next while I'm watching, and then you bring the dogs back
Right.
in, and then you know that they're not going to. I mean, Ms. Woodbury, in a lot of parts of your complaint, you make it sound like this was on purpose.
Yes, I do feel like it was on
How
purpose.
could you feel this was on purpose?
So she made it clear she didn't like my dog, and I went away for 2 weeks, and she felt like I needed to pay her for watching my dog. when
Why?
she had
Wait, hold on. Why did you leave your dog with her to watch if you went away?
I left my dog with her girlfriend, and then her girlfriend goes out of town as well for the holidays to New Orleans. And
Well, then why
she
did you
left-
leave your dog with somebody who wasn't going to be there to take care of your dog? Well,
No, I didn't know
Okay,
her
the truth of
girlfriend-
the matter is that by then you weren't getting along. You didn't ask her directly, is it okay if I leave my dog with you?
Mm-hmm.
The person you just kind of left the dog there. And then you were a little put out that she didn't actually ask you, hey, is it okay?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That sounds more like it, right? That's not a reason. And by the way, the dog was well taken care of.
Yeah, she was very
During
well
your
taken care of.
14-day away. All right. Yeah, what picture shows? This doesn't show the door. I wanted
Oh,
to
the picture of the gap, I don't have it printed out.
Yeah,
put it
that's
in my
what I
phone.
I have a picture of a gap.
Can I
if
see
you
the
like
picture
it.
of the gap?
Of course.
Show me proof that you paid $2,500 for the dog.
Oh, it was my boyfriend that paid that, so I don't
Show me
have-
proof that your boyfriend paid $2,500 for the dog.
Me and him are no longer in contact.
Show me proof that your dog is a pure bred miniature poodle. Or give me something. Wow, that is a tiny dog if it can fit underneath that door. All Are you still living there?
Yes.
Wow. That's got to be stressful. What's the
Yeah,
deal?
I'm currently going through an eviction process because she hasn't paid rent for this month.
And that's your counterclaim. She hasn't paid rent.
Yeah.
What month hasn't she paid rent?
The month of February.
Okay.
And she's an at-will tenant, so she has every right to leave when she wants to.
Right.
So I'm confused about why she wants to still stay in my home.
Did you give her notice?
Yes, I gave her
When
official
did you
notice.
give her notice?
I gave her notice on February the 3rd, and
Okay.
we went to the courts, and she got an official notice this week, and she was served the 5-day
Okay.
process.
Had you given her any verbal notice before
Yes.
that?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
When had you given her
I
verbal
gave her
notice?
verbal notice on January 8th, the day she came back from her 2-week trip.
Is that before or after the dog went missing?
Oh, before the dog was missing. The dog went missing on January 10th. So I told her on January 8th that this is not going to work out. We're not getting along and that we need to end things. The dog went missing 2 days later. And so this is why she thinks I'm maliciously doing this because I am out to get her or something. I don't know.
Hey, you would have lost your girlfriend's dog too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I know we love our dogs like children. I find that you're right because you're just putting the dogs back there was not negligent in the slightest. It was par for the course. The part that was negligent is the part that you shared with me, which is that there's a gap and you know the dogs get out, but you move the chair and here's why you did that. If you want the long guys to do it, then make sure the dogs can't get out because it is tantamount to opening the door and letting the dogs go away. So that entitles you to the value of the dog. I know you feel a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. Everyone does because they love their dogs. But the law doesn't recognize a value to that. Literally, your measure of damages in a case like this is the value of a 5-year-old toy poodle. In other words, if you put the dog in the open market, if you tried to sell a 5-year-old toy poodle, what would you get for the dog? That's the measure of damages. It's not the replacement value. That's not your measure of damages. It's not how much you love a dog that then jacks it up to super high because you love the dog so much. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right. What would you pay for a 5-year-old dog? That's where the rub is. I'm going to award you damages in the amount in your lawsuit against her of $1,000, which is extremely generous on my part. Now let's talk about rent. She did not pay rent for what months? Did she pay rent in January?
January, yes.
So the month she hasn't paid rent is February?
Yes.
Okay. And what is your defense to paying rent in February?
Well, since Coco's been gone, she's been kind of going out her way to make me feel uncomfortable, I guess to get me out sooner. I literally just come in there to coexist. Like I said, I don't use the kitchen. I don't use the living room. I'm just in my room, go to work, come home, shower. That's it.
So you're living there. Why aren't you paying rent? Just because you're uncomfortable with the situation?
After we had not at all. After we had the confrontation, she made it her business. Something was wrong with the toilet. She used to come in every morning and I would hear her doing something with the toilet, the lid, and removing the lid every morning. So something was wrong. She never communicated with me something being wrong, but I would hear her every morning. I had to physically.
Tell me, when you say the confrontation, you mean after the dog was lost?
Yeah, on the 14th, I asked her moving forward, what do we do? She started yelling at me, saying she's doing everything she can.
The cops were called because she tried to threaten me.
What do you mean she tried to threaten?
Oh, no, she did threaten me. I'm sorry.
What did she say?
She told me that she was extremely upset about the dog, which I understood because she thought I didn't put an effort to look for her dog. And I told her I understood that. But what the problem...
Did you put an effort to look for her?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I put a Facebook post. I drove around to the same places that she drove around, and I constantly am still looking for this dog today. At that point, she just started to tell me that she was going to beat my behind and she was going to beat my girlfriend's behind. She called her boyfriend over, and he threatened us over the phone that he had said he was going to bring a gun or something, that they were going to do something to the dog.
Wait, or something. That's
He
not
never
like
said
either
that.
he said he was going to bring a gun or he didn't.
He definitely, I heard him say it because he said, I got a gun. And then he kept referencing the other dog. Oh, she has a dog, right? Oh, and they started laughing. She has a dog, right? So when she displayed that behavior, I knew that at that point that we needed to move out and I needed to go ahead and do the eviction process. The police told me that I couldn't just kick her out, that she has rights. So I had to go to court and do the eviction process.
So are you living there now or no?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm staying with family. So I pay rent and I don't even live there.
Right.
So for the last 2 weeks, I've been with my family because there's been issues.
And what reason do you have for not paying rent? Because nothing you've said would excuse not paying rent.
The toilet, I feel like
What's the deal with the toilet?
We put maintenance and requests. I don't know what she's talking about. My toilet runs. So when she hears me going in, all I'm doing is taking off the lid of the toilet and pushing the suction back down. the toilet runs. That's what I'm doing every single morning. I have put maintenance requests in. I have right here, and they still are lacking and coming over. So I'm trying everything. She has not communicated to me because we have not been talking since the 14th. So there's no way for you to tell me.
You got to pay rent.
And I have
You have to pay rent. Nothing you're saying. The fact that you are uncomfortable and you're mad at her for losing your dog is not an excuse to live for free. You can't.
I have a video and pictures of the toilet and how I have to physically fill up water.
What does that have to do with paying rent? You're living there. How many bathrooms are there?
There's 3.
Okay, $600 in rent for February, subtracted from the $1,000, leaves a net judgment in your favor of $400. When March comes, you got to pay March too, and you have the eviction pending. If she gets out, great, and if she doesn't get out, you need to amend your petition, your lawsuit to include March rent and ongoing. Did you file the lawsuit yourself?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a space for that. You probably know that. But right now, for what's in front of me, I'm finding in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $400.
So the plaintiff does prevail, but not nearly for the $8,000 she had been seeking. And Ms. Biggers, let me ask, you aren't living there now because of her.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm staying with family, paying rent in my home, and I don't even live there because she's upset that I lost the dog.
Well, I'm sorry for you, but you said you're still looking for the dog too?
Yes, sir.
You're doing your part there?
Yeah, I love dogs.
Obviously, you feel bad for her.
I do feel bad. I feel bad that we had to come here and do all of this. I feel really bad, but it is what it is. People act the way they act, so.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You must sign some documents on your way out of the courtroom. Ms. Woodbury, I know you were asking for $8,000. No one loves the thought of losing a pet, but I think the judge was very generous. She gave you $1,000 for the dog, but then deducted the rent. You got to pay rent?
Yeah.
Are you going to get out of the apartment?
Of course. She's done things like physically attacked me. She's set up cameras facing my bedroom door. She's called my probation officer.
Bottom line, you
got
to get out.
Yeah,
the question is, you're going to go.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, look, I hope you find your putt.
Thank you.
Okay, Harvey, what do you think?
If you borrow somebody's property, you actually have to use great care in maintaining that property. Great care. That is a high, high standard. Pretty much means that if you lose the property, you're stuck. Now, we have a legal question. David, what is it? By the way, David's our executive producer.
Hey, Harvey, we just got this video in from a viewer with a request, and here it is.
Hi, Harvey. I'm Jessica from Connecticut. I'm a big fan of the People's Court. I know that you rescue dogs. Can we meet him?
I am more than pleased to introduce you to my rescue dogs. This is Stanley, everybody. This is Stanley. David, cutest dog. David.
Cutest dog ever.
To be honest, not so fast, because this is Carter. This is Carter.
Carter.
Oh my God. Carter's actually a star. Carter's been on TV quite a bit. Okay. That'll do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Craig Edelman. He says he rented a 2-bedroom apartment to the defendant. And not only did she break her lease and move out early, she ruined the place. That's right, she put up an illegal wall. She damaged his historic floors. And he's suing a nasty woman for every penny of the $6,631.69 she owes him. This is the defendant, Samantha Braden. She says the defendant's your typical slumlord, a horrible guy who barely did any maintenance to the place. She had a leaky roof. The former tenants he rented to were crackheads, and the place was in horrible shape when she got it. And how dare he try to pin these damages on her because he's sore she moved out. She's accused of being a terrible tenant.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff rented to the defendant, says didn't even take a year, and the defendant did all sorts of damage, including building a wall and ruining the floors. But the defendant says the plaintiff is a slumlord, and the place was already in horrible shape before she moved in, and she's not going to be the fall guy. It's the case of tear down that wall.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, you were her landlord for how long?
About 9 months.
All right. And then you had a 1-year lease, so
Yes.
why were you breaking it?
I was moving to Daytona.
To be with him? You
Yeah.
pointed to him like, well, wouldn't you, Judge? Like, what's that? All right, well, but you're breaking a lease. That's a contractual commitment. So what did you say to him?
So I did discuss with him that I wanted to break the lease. He agreed that we could part amicably for $650.
What was the $650 going to cover?
That was like the prorated December.
Prorated December?
Yeah. And I was actually there 10 months.
Were you there in December?
Yeah.
So why would December be prorated?
Because I was
Were you there part of December? Is
the
that what
first 7-8 days of
Okay,
December.
so you were going to pay $650 for December
Right.
and give up your security deposit? or
Yes.
no? And that was going to be the deal?
Yes.
And then what happened? Did you pay the $650?
So.
Yes or no? It's
no.
simple. Right. So you don't have a deal. So now you understand that's how a deal works. Because that would have been the deal. If you just paid the other $450, none of us would be here. I would be here. You guys wouldn't be here. So go ahead. What happened?
Hi, Your Honor. I didn't know exactly when she was moving out. She didn't tell me exactly when she was moving out. She told me on December 6th that she was going to be moving soon, but didn't give me a definitive date. I don't know anything about a $650.
Yes, you
agreement.
do. I have the text where you're saying to her, "Why don't you just pay me the $650 that we agreed?" You did. Did she forge those texts? I mean,
No, I don't recall.
how do you not recall what you said in the case that we're suing on? Pull out your phone, please.
I have a
and-
copy for
I
you
don't
right
want
here.
copies. I want it in the phone because I want to make sure they're not doctored up. So show it to me in your phone.
All right.
So I didn't recall a specific date that she told me she was moving out.
Yeah, I didn't ask you that.
Yeah.
I asked you if you had a deal with her about the $650. You'd keep the deposit, and she'd just get out early in December. Yeah. Did you or not?
I don't recall a deal.
Okay. So then, if you can't remember, if it turns out that's what happened, how am I going to trust what you're going to tell me now about what happened 2 years ago? Okay. So talk to me.
Yeah,
when
so-
she left, what condition did she leave it that you feel justifies you in suing today, a year and several months later, for $6,631?
Yeah, I basically said to myself, if I'm still angry with the unauthorized alterations that she made after a year, I would sue her. And so I was thinking a few months ago that, yeah, I'm still pretty angry about this wall that she put up.
So that's, you literally give yourself a cooling off period?
Yeah. She was a single mom. I felt bad for her. I didn't want to really, put the screws to the wall, so to speak. And I decided, you know what, it cost me a lot of money to repair the damages that she did. Besides putting up the unauthorized wall.
Did you put up a wall in someone else's apartment?
Listen, I dated this guy for like 2 months, and
Did you put up a wall? You listen. Did you put up a wall in someone else's property without their permission?
the guy I was dating did.
You just woke up and there was a wall?
I came home from work.
And there was a wall?
Yes.
And what did he say?
He said that it would make it a whole separate room. He like put a door on there. Apparently, I mean, he was a carpenter.
And what did you say? I don't own the joint. No, you
get
liked
away
it?
from me.
Looks good, huh?
No, I broke up with him.
Right,
Like,
not over this.
very
He also,
shortly after.
did you also break up with him over the shelves that he put? Did he do all that? He was
That
a
was in
busy
one
beaver
day.
one day, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, you put shelves up without asking, and you put a wall up that may or may not be legal because it was certainly not permitted, but much more importantly, you didn't ask. It's not your property to do that. So if you can't just say, oh, well, the boy did it, that's not how it works. You're responsible. You are the steward of that person's property. And you're supposed to return it the way you got it. And if you return it in a different way that requires him to now dismantle stuff, that's going to be a problem for you. Now, on December 5th, can you pay the rent today, please? It's due today. I cannot. I will pay you $625 on Friday, but we're moving to Daytona on the 15th. And you say the 15th of December? And she says, yes, we are moving in a week. And you say, definite? I can depend on your word so I can start marketing right away for availability the 16th? She says, absolutely. And you say, okay, that's nice. Please do. And you can show it if you need to. Well, nobody seems that upset about it. Thanks. You're welcome. When breaking a lease, cooperation is best. I'll appreciate your help. I know, I'm sorry, I couldn't pass it up. Hey, a free house, why not? And then she says, he is amazing.
Oh.
Which I presume is referring to you.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's how it is. Craig, something happened with my account, she says on the 7th. I have $200 I can give you, but my account is frozen. You say, I'm coming today to the property, I'll take the $200, but please give me the other $450 today. I have mouths to feed and bills to pay. She says, I'm at work, but I can put it in your account. Can you send info? I'll do it now. Okay, I'm sure you can figure out your problems. Sounds strange. Yeah, it's. And then you give her your account number and the routing number. I may leave on Sunday to Daytona. I'll let you know, she says. And you say, so can you call the bank and get the $650 today? So that's it. Did she give you anything?
No.
Oh, you didn't even see 200.
Yeah, and this was just the excuses from December. There was always excuses in August and September and October.
Okay, so that 200 that she says, I have it, she never gave it to you? You never gave him the 200?
No.
Okay, so she's there in December. How much is rent?
$1,250.
And she gives you no notice.
Right.
Do you have a security deposit?
I do.
Of $1,250?
Correct.
So you're certainly owed at least $1,250 because you would be entitled to December and entitled to January because you'd worked out something with her that she didn't follow through on. So now we just go back to the actual law. You have no deal because you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. So she owes December, she gave you no notice, she owes January. And now you end up renting it in February.
Correct.
Okay, so now talk to me about what damages she left that you're able to prove that you would in addition be entitled to.
Sure. When I went into the apartment in early December after I was fairly sure she was gone, even though I wasn't 100% sure, there was furniture all over the place. The hardwood floors, which are pretty historic, they're like 80 years old, were all scratched up, which they weren't before she moved in.
Okay, hold on one second. This is the picture where you write the words hardwood floors scratched by rough furniture movement.
Right.
How am I supposed to see that in this picture?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, if there's a scratch on the hardwood floors, take a picture of it up close like everybody else does.
Yeah,
How am I supposed to tell from this picture?
Yeah, I know it is hard to tell. When I first walked in, I was in such disbelief of what I was seeing. I was just
But then did you walk in again later when you are in belief? I mean,
yeah.
All right, she left all the furniture?
Yeah, all that furniture you see, absolutely.
Oh, to be her, huh? He comes in on a white horse and that's that, man. And so why did you leave all your furniture behind?
My truck was stolen the night that I was packing from his other tenant. And it had my wallet, which included my debit card, my ID, everything.
I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'm very sorry that happened to you, but explain to me why you left your furniture behind on the day you're moving.
Because my truck was gone and I couldn't move it out.
And how about the next day? Couldn't you rent a U-Haul and get your stuff out of there? Why do you think that's his problem to dispose of your furniture?
I couldn't rent anything because I didn't have an ID or money because it was stolen.
He looks like he could probably rent something. I mean, you realize a year and 3 months has passed and you just literally washed your hands of your furniture, right? So you know something's going to happen with that, right? Because you're not allowed to do that. Now, the trip for me is that it's really nice. It's not bad furniture. It's like kind of nice furniture. So what happened with the furniture?
Well, after me and a couple of handymen removed it all and we put it to the back.
You really got rid of all that furniture, even the bunk beds? I would never have gotten rid of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was just too much for me to deal with. I had to clean up the place. The walls were written on.
That's not my question.
Yeah,
my question was, what'd you do with the furniture?
I put it in the back for collection.
For collection meaning?
Yeah.
You did toss it. You tossed it.
Yes,
you got rid of it.
Right.
It's not in the place.
Right.
The next tenant's not using it.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw it on Craigslist.
Did you sell it?
There was one
Or is this one
item.
of those things you don't remember?
No. There was one item that
What'd you sell?
I sold the bunk beds. That was the only
those
thing,
are good. That's the item I'm talking about.
That was the only thing that was worthwhile.
And what'd you sell it for?
I got $60 for it.
Did you see it for something?
It was $200.
He listed it for $200?
Yes.
And how do you know what he got?
I don't know what he got, but I know what he listed it for.
Okay. Do you have pictures of the before and after for the wood floors?
I do.
You don't even have the after. I mean.
Yeah, I know it's hard to see in those pictures, but I can show you.
Yeah, well, that's what you got to prove.
I can show you some
by
before
a preponderance
pictures.
of the evidence is that it's the way you said. Look at all the junk you left there for someone else. What is all this? Why are you leaving all that there?
It was my clothes I couldn't take with me.
Why not? You could. You realize you could, right? You know how silly you sound saying that, right? How old are you?
I'm 33.
Yeah, you could take it with you. You just didn't take it with you, right? And you didn't clean up. And you left food in the fridge.
There you can see some scratching.
Yeah, the bunk beds are awesome. What is this? I don't understand your notes on this one.
What you're seeing, that 5 set of drawers is like a really heavy cabinet of drawers that wasn't there, when I rented it to her. It took 2 guys to lift it out.
Why would you remove it?
Because it's in the kitchen. It's a small kitchen space. That's like occupying a third of the eating area, basically, or a quarter of the eating area.
Okay.
And it was
Do you have any proof that you removed it, that you took 3 guys to take it out? Where are your receipts for this?
Here.
Pull out the receipt that has to do with getting rid of this item.
Sure. So I'm going to give you Your Honor, a receipt from the handyman services company that basically restored the kitchen. So in the process of restoring the kitchen was removing the shelves, taking out the furniture. I mean, I helped him, but that's the full receipt for all the work to renovate the kitchen back to how it was prior.
What's fix all moldings?
There were moldings that they took off the kitchen, historic moldings that had to be replaced. I'm not sure what they were trying to accomplish.
Did you take out moldings? Do you know if he did?
I have no idea.
They did, Your Honor.
And you took out the perimeter shelves?
Correct. Those anchors had to come down. The shelving had to come down. It just doesn't belong. You can see there was a door on the bottom left, a door that was just hanging there. That wasn't even installed. Not that I wanted it installed. Partial.
No, that had to come down.
There was a beer
Pantry
bottle and more
closet
garbage.
filled with food.
Mm-hmm.
The TV? You left the TV? Wow. What'd you do with the TV?
I put it out by the
Did you
trash.
sell anything else?
No.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
I left it furnished.
I don't think you're picking up what I'm putting down. And the thing is, I would say you're just, naive, but I'm going to tell you why I don't think you're naive. Here's your last Facebook text to him. I don't have it, and I have record that I am not living there in the beginning of this month. The most you can get me for is like $3,000, and you kept my deposit. You have the opportunity to rent the apartment out. Do it. You can garnish my wages, but you will end up with a felony for openly admitting to opening my mail. Apparently, you opened up her mail and said, oh, I guess this is yours, and took a picture of it and sent it to her. That shows how malicious you were. And I promise I will find many other things to countersue for. Also, I don't work anymore, and I am nowhere close to you. You are wasting your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of ends that little supposition that you're just naive. All right, I find that you have to pay the $1,250 that we talked about earlier, which represents the month of January, because the security deposit is already taken up for December. And you have to give some kind of notice, but certainly he is out. You gave no notice, and he is out the month of January. That's going to come out of your pocket and not his. So since the security deposit covers December, you don't get that back. And since January, the place was still unoccupied, you owe $1,250. Plus, I find that there were all kinds of construction things that were completely unauthorized, and you don't get to do that. That was another $1,925 that he had to pay, which is $3,175. Who did the cleaning?
I hired a cleaning service for $140. I was doing cleaning as well. So I have a full list of damages that...
Yeah, but you're not going to get $6,000. Yeah. You don't really think you're going to get $6,000 here, do you? Because you're not, right? Because you have an evidence flow problem here. You have pictures that are taken from a mile away, although you're telling me that you have the damage. She's not going to renovate your floors for you. That's not how it works either. Okay, you're entitled to be made whole, not to make a bonanza out of this. So I'm finding in your favor in the amount of the $3,115. Guess what? It can't get more than $3,000. $3,115 plus your court costs, plus prejudgment statutory interest since she moved out in December of 2018. That is my verdict.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff does prevail. Ms. Braden, I think a lot of people are just stunned that you walked away and left that apartment that way.
Well, it was a good deal. I couldn't pass it up.
You mean just to walk out and leave everything there?
Yeah.
You're one for the books. Okay. You did have to pay money. Oh, $3,000. You're pretty close on that estimate, though. Pretty good for you.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Mr. Edelman. She called you a slumlord.
I take care of my tenants very well.
Yeah.
I gave her reduced rent because she was a single mom. I took good care of her.
That's something else. Have you ever had anyone do that before?
No, I've never had such a mess left behind in the apartment, never.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, she really took advantage.
Well, if you had better pictures, you might have gotten a little bit more, but
Yeah.
you got $3,100. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Okay, Harvey?
Well, Doug, I got to tell you, no matter who makes the changes, the alterations to the apartment, if you sign the lease, you're responsible. You have to take care of things and make sure other people don't damage it.